It takes all kinds to make the world go round, and the world is spinning like a top. Um, I've had some responses to particularly my blogs on physics, which I find interesting from an analytical viewpoint. I'm not being critical here of anyone. Everyone is entitled to their beliefs, no matter how odd I may find them. Just like I'm sure many people find my beliefs odd. Um, the Earth is not flat. I truly believe that. I have very good reason to believe that the Earth is not flat. I'm going to go work in my shop today. That's why I'm dressed like this. Also, I am not a devil, because when I turn the light on, allow me to do this. There, now the light's on. Those two lights right there. I'm not a devil. I'm not the devil, really. I just happen to be sitting here with Lisa, any more than she's an angel with a halo. Trust me, I live with her. She is not an angel. She's damn close to it, though. The Earth's not flat. It's not hollow. We don't live under a dome. The moon is not a holographic projection. We have to and again, I say, get mad at me if you like. I'm not being critical here of anyone. I have beliefs at the outer edges of understanding, which are probably problematic for some, and probably pretty wild for some. And yet they're my beliefs, but there's basis for them. It's an understanding that I have come to. Perhaps errors were made along the way, but it is an understanding that I have. Anyone with a sextant and anyone who is aware of seasons and puts an eye up to the night sky understands where we stand in the solar system. Copernicus dealt with that so very long ago. So I don't want to get into a war of words on the internet comments. I want people to feel free to comment, and even if I disagree with your things, that's all right. But don't get frustrated and upset with me because I won't agree with you that the world is flat and that Einstein was part of a conspiracy to overtake the world or some of these things. It's just not what I believe, and with good reason, quite frankly. There are good reasons that I don't believe those things. Now, that said, that's one thing. Let's set that aside one time and let's talk about truth, because the basis for understanding is the conveyance of information truthfully. And I believe that is why there is much of this disparity that exists in the world today, politically and scientifically and socially. It is important to make statements that are facts. It is important to be equitable in your assessments. So if I'm a Republican and President Obama, standing right beside me, is a Democrat. I don't hate President Obama. I don't hate Tim Kaine. He's been my friend for 30-some years. I don't hate anyone because of their party affiliation. But here's what happens is I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. Because I have these, I'm religious. I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim. I'm a whatever. I'm Jewish. I'm any of these things. It doesn't matter. because I happen to be that, should I then hate everyone else? And if someone tells me to, am I going to listen to him? But people do listen to people who tell them things which are systemically untrue, which are easily seen as untruths. I will tell you, I am hardly a man who understands a lot about religion. The things that I see looking at religion are usually not good things. When people line up in lines and kill each other, the reason is usually religion. Men with near perfect hair profess their love for God and ask for money from widows and drive Rolls Royces. God doesn't want your money. God doesn't need your money. Of that I'm certain. And I am not a particularly religious man, but I know that there's not an old man with a gray beard on a cloud sitting there going, gosh, I can't wait for that evangelist to send that check up here. That's not the way this works. It's not the way any of it works. If because Mr. Obama, President Obama, and he's not my favorite president, quite frankly. Let's use a better example. Let's use Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, I find to be a brilliant man, an interesting man, an incredibly intelligent man, socially adept, great campaigner, great politician. Also, an incredibly good president. He was a Democrat. I don't hate Bill Clinton because he's a Democrat. I'm not going to write bad things about Bill Clinton that I know aren't true because he's a Democrat. I am not going to threaten his family or make statements that are threatening toward him or take the worst possible twist on a piece of news and disseminate it to make him look bad because his philosophies of politics are somewhat different than mine. Guys, we got to stop doing this. We have to stop doing this. We must, there was a time when Harry Reasoner was the news and Walter Cronkite. And I remember a time when Walter Cronkite told the world about the death of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. And he stated purely fact, even though he knew John Kennedy. Walter's a sailor, and a tremendously nice guy, by the way. And I had the luck to meet Walter Cronkite. He knew Kennedy. Kennedy also a sailor, of course. I think they had a lot in common, and I think he respected and really liked the guy a lot. And for those of us who are old enough to remember when Kennedy was shot, the nation loved that president. That was a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing in a number of ways. It was kind of near the beginning of the end for truth, but truth still stood in the form of Reasoner and Cronkite and these great newsmen. And Walter had his glasses on, and he stated the time and that John Fitzgerald Kennedy had died. And then he took his glasses off and let the tears fall out from behind. Anyway, it's important that we not lose all of that. It's important that we stay focused on reason and that we develop a foundation of reasonable information, and that's what we build on, and that we not let everything come tumbling down as it has so many times. This needs to be a progressive climb. we need to reach a point where, as mankind and as a nation, we're far ahead of where we are now. These periods of digression need to stop, and we need to do better. Thanks a bunch.